Good morning and welcome to another day of Learn with Laura. And today we are going to listen to a story. And this story is one of my favourites that we used to read with year two all the time. A few years ago, there were specific books that we got year two to read, and this was one of them. That hasn't happened for a few years in schools now. There's much more choice about what the children want to read. But this was always one of my favourites. And I'm going to set you a challenge at the end of it to do with this book. And this book is called Super Sid, the Silly Sausage Dog. Let's have a look and see why Sid is so silly. Here he is. Here's Super Sid. Wonder what he's up to. Sid was a sausage dog who lived in the kennels on the edge of town. He lived there because he didn't have a nice, kind owner to love and care for him like the other dogs. Sid wanted a nice, kind owner more than anything, so he decided to find one himself. First, Sid took a giant leap over the kennel wall to show what a good jumper he was. Wow, Sid. He really does look like a sausage, doesn't he? But he landed on top of Madame Murple's very posh tea party. "Silly Sid," screeched the ladies. "Back to the kennels at once." Oh dear, I don't think that's quite gone to plan, has it? Then Sid tried to show everyone what a good digger he was. He's got his bone, he's going to dig, but he dug up all Gardener Pete's prize vegetables. "Silly Sid," growled Pete. "Now I'll never win the best vegetable competition. Back to the kennels with you." "I know," thought Sid. "I'll show everyone what a good singer I am. That will cheer them up." He howled and howled as loud as his doggy lungs would let him. Oh! But he woke the whole street. "Silly Sid," they cried, throwing water at him. "Go away." Poor Sid, sad, wet and lonely, he crept back to the kennels. "Nobody wants me," he thought. "I'll never find a proper home." The next morning, Sid was woken by a very strange smell. He put his nose into the air and without thinking, he followed the smell. Out of the window, across the yard, over the wall, under the fence, through the garden, around the bird table, until at last he came to a fire. Little Billy's dinner was on fire. Grandma had forgotten all about it. Sid jumped up and down, and he sang and he woofed and he howled as loud as his doggy lungs would let him, until the fireman came, and with a rush and a gush and a great big splash, he put the fire out. "Clever Sid," said Grandma. "Brave Sid," said the fireman. "Super Sid," said the crowd. "My Sid," said little Billy. So Sid had found not one, but two of the nicest, kindest owners ever. And there's lots of pictures of Silly Sid at the end. I love the end of that. What a happy ending for Sid. And I know a bit of a silly dog as well. My dog Barney's a bit crazy, like Sid sometimes. But we do love him. So your challenge today is going to be something to do with the book. And it is to write some sentences that have alliteration in about members of your family. So in my house, there is Sophie, and Sophie could have Soppy Sophie sits in the sun. So all of the sounds begin with S. Soppy Sophie sits in the sun. I have got a Harry, and my Harry could be Happy Harry hops high. All the words don't have to have the same letter. Some of the smaller words like and the can also be included in it, and it's still alliteration. Can you make a sentence for every single person in your family that has alliteration at the beginning? And remember, it doesn't have to have the same letter, but it does have to have the same sound at the beginning of the words. Good luck, everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing them posted below. So before I go, as always, be safe and be healthy, and I will see you really soon.